Hi guys, so I got a request from one of my subscriber to teach how to paint air. So I've been working on this hyper-realistic painting for a while now, and I think it will be of a good opportunity to use this hair as a tutorial for that. So I'm planning to make the hair. This hair is an Afro hair with this kind of gel hair. This is from the reference while I'm imputing this into the reference. So I'm kind of changing the style of hair that is in the reference image. I'm trying to infuse a different kind of hair into this. So I needed to download a different reference to paint this. So if I'm posting this before the whole tutorial video of the painting, because I have recorded videos for all of the process, you might have to stay tuned to watch the whole process of this hyper realistic painting. So let's just start. Okay, I'll be starting with the Afro air, and to paint the Afro air, you have to start with the base colors. Yeah, just create the. We need to first create the roughness of the hair, that is the bumps, the dark parts, the highlights. That's going to be the base layer for the hair. This time around, I'll be using oil paint, oil color direct. So this is a black color, I mean dark color. So we won't really have the issue of having to paint in two layers. A layer could be fine for the hair, because after that layer we are going to add in details of the hair strands. So the first thing I want to do is to create the dark spots. I mixed my black paint with a little bit of burnt sienna. You can also use your dark paint direct, or just add a touch of other paints to it, because in reality total black is not in realism painting. If you look deep, you see that we don't have total blacks in those areas. But however, so the first thing we want to do is to paint out the shades are the darker areas of our reference. I'm using a total different reference from my picture for this part of the afro hair. So there's always different dark spots that makes the hair looks realistic enough. So the part where the hair is linking up with the other hair, I need to make it dark. Mhm. That will separate the two hair style from each other. So after creating this, then we can go ahead and create a lighter shade, not too light but slightly light, that will blend into the dark spots. It can have a bit of brown. Yes, you can get that from mixing white, brown and black together, just to give you that natural air feel. So try not to make the edges this perfect. I left this perfect edge just for reference purpose, to know, to serve as a guideline for where to just stop the hair. You need to bring back that dark tone there. So don't bother about the black background blending into the hair. We can separate that with our hair strands. So when we start putting the hair strands now, we can create a kind of separation with that. So every hairstyle has its own approach. Yeah, every hairstyle has its own approach. Maybe after this, I'll try to create a tutorial video on how to paint several hairstyles. Yeah. But first thing you have to do is to study your image and check out what the details there, and how you just kind of think of, okay, how can you achieve this kind of details on your drawing. Please don't make this light part too light, because once we start adding all of our hair strands, it's still going to affect those shades and it's definitely going to go lighter. So just try to keep it slightly close to the black, because it's going to serve as a background layer for the hair strands. Try not to make the edges straight or smooth. Make it rough. That's what makes hair realistic. It's rough. If I had not been working on a black background, you would have seen the rough edges I'm trying to create on my images. But I'll still achieve that with my hair strands. Yep, we're done with the base layer. So I still want to paint those blacks, like feel like retouching the dark sides to make it pop a little more. You could actually freestyle all of this, and if you have a reference, you can follow the reference. All you just have to do is make sure you have several shades of black and a lighter shade. After this, the next thing is to create the hair strands. And while creating the hair strands, you have to start with, you can actually start with any tonal value you'd like, but I would prefer to start with the closest color to the lighter shade that we have on the hair. So any color that is very close to that, you mix it and you keep making it lighter, as you go by it. Also, to create the hair strands, you need a lining brush like this, liner brush. You can always get this or create one for yourself. You can create one by trimming your brushes. I actually trimmed the edge of all of these brushes to make it this tiny. One other thing you have to do is make sure your paint is fluid enough so that you'll be able to create straight lines. I feel this color is still too dark because I could barely see what I am drawing. So what we want to do is we want to scribble. Just create several lines, scribbles. Yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing. So gradually you move from the darkest color to the lightest color with scribble. That's what makes the hair realistic for Afro hair. Try to keep your lines as tiny as possible. I'm working on a large scale, so I feel this thickness of my line is not too bad, and this could be the most stressful part, or should I say the most time-taking part of the hair. So after that, we move on to a lighter shade. Just add white to your mixture to make it a little bit lighter. So the lighter you go, the more you have to focus on just the light parts. If I'm using lighter paints to create my scribble, then I would want to focus on the areas that are not the very dark parts of the hair, because the very dark part of the hair has less light. So the the scribbles that will be there would be very dark scribbles, and you create with your light shades, create several hair strands outside. So I'm putting some brownish strokes too. So let's move on to the other part of the hair. For this part of the hair too, we have the base layers and we have, instead of scribble here, we have just strokes. So we're working with strokes here to create the realism of the hair. There's an highlight on this end. So now we would create the strokes for this hair. That's several strokes in certain directions, and that will be all for the hair. I try to blend those parts close to the hair so I don't have a sharp edge. It doesn't look like the hair is standing out from the whole drawing. So, and I think I need to add more brown to my hair. It's looking too black. So there are some tiny hairs on the skin before this hair itself. So first I'll try to create all of that first with our liner brush. Create the hair. I'm using a very dark brown. It's a mixture of burnt sienna and black for this part. Try to keep it as tiny as possible. So in order to make it tiny, make sure you don't have too much pressure on your brush and make your paint as fluid as possible. There are some parts there that has more like the scribble texture. Try not to add too much pressure on your brush so that the hair doesn't look too sharp. This is already looking too sharp. I'll just dull it down with maybe white and the skin tone. So I'm adding browns to the hair, brown strands. So I want to put in the highlights, and I think with that we can finalize on the hair. I'm not using a direct white, I'm using a gray. I have some of it here too. I'm liking this. So I just want to create a very darker one in a few spots there. I think it's going to help the overall outlook of the work. I think this is better.